This has been my second month full-time reselling. Here's my July recap. What sold? Let's get into it. Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Aurelia, otherwise known as martziechic, and in today's video I have a whole analytics video going into the month of July for me, full-time reselling, what my goals were, if I smashed those goals, and some of the things that sold within the last month so you can see what is currently selling. Obviously, if you guys are new here, please be sure to hit the little subscribe button down below and tap that notification bell right next to it to be notified every single time I post a new video. So let's jump into this video. A lot of you really liked the first month's video that I had made, and I had gone into a lot more further detail into my sources of income in that video. So if you do want to watch it, I will link it above and down below for you guys. But if you do just want to watch this video, I mean, I still think it's important that you watch the other one, but you don't necessarily need to know it because I will be walking you through last month's goals. I will say that the month of July was a very hard month for me in terms of meeting my goals and different expenditures that came up. Obviously, as you guys can probably tell from the quality of this video, I had to get a brand new camera. My other camera did die, and I also did spend some money on new marketing materials because I ran out of cards, and I really wanted to step up some of my game for that as well. So those are some of the unexpected costs that I had, but these things happen, and this is just part of my reselling journey as a whole. And obviously this camera is going to last me such a long time, so if it helps me create videos and content for you guys that is really quality, I have no problem purchasing it. But some of the goals that I had wanted to do last month as well, we will be talking about today. But besides that, let's talk about some of the goals that I had from last month that I wanted to accomplish this month. So last month, if you watched that video, I had made about $1,700 reselling that month. Now, I did think that that was on the low side for me because I had just started full-time reselling about halfway through the month. And also, I know that I had been doing this as a hobby for such a long time that I could make at least $1,000 a month consistently. So I thought, okay, if I put more money, time, and energy into this, it will definitely step up from there. So my goal technically was just to make double the amount of money, so $3,200. The second goal I had for myself was starting to cross-post more and cross-list more onto Mercari and eBay. So I really wanted to make more sales on these platforms because I know that not one source of income is best. So my primary marketplace right now is Poshmark, and I'm really trying to expand that a little bit here. So by going to those marketplaces as well, I was hoping that more eyes would be directed to those items. The third thing that I wanted to do and the goal that I had for myself was start branching out my income streams like I had said before. So whether this be paid products, freelancing, sponsorships, that sort of thing, I really want to start getting into that a bit more. And also I wanted to expand upon the markets that I currently offered. So not just going to Mercari or eBay, but expanding into the men's market, the pet market, the home market, kids, etc. So anything they did know about in these categories, I started picking up instead of just picking up women's fashion. And the last goal that I tried to work on this past month was increasing my average sales price. If you guys watched my last video, I think my average sales price was around $28 to $29. So I really wanted to increase this to about $35. That was my goal. So we will hop into that a little bit later. But for right now, I want to talk a little bit more about my best and worst sales. In the last video, I chose 5 of my best sales and 3 of my worst, just to show you guys some variety in the things that I was picking up. I will be looking down here because I have them all written down, but I will be popping up an image of everything on the side screen next to me. So my best sale that I made this past month, I think I actually sold last month as well. So this dress has a little bit of a story to it. I had bought a Reformation maxi dress, and this is the story time in itself. If you guys want me to make story times of bad customers I've had, I definitely can. I was not expecting this when I had gotten this return, but last month I think it was, I had sold this dress to someone for $120, and I had sent it out to them. And you know, I do cycle through a bit of inventory, so obviously there's going to be flaws on some things, and I'm just not going to pick them up. But I had sent this dress out to this girl, and I had gotten a case opened on me, and I was like, oh, that's weird, like this is a gorgeous dress. And she's like, hey, yeah, there's a rip in it. There was like a slit on the leg, and she's like, yeah, there was a rip on it, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no problem, that is totally my fault. I will absolutely accept a return because Poshmark does cover things that you did not say in the listing. So I accepted the return, I got the item back, and the minute that I opened the package, it smelled like perfume. And I was like, are you serious? I might be wrong. Like, I totally might be wrong here, but I think this girl wore it out, ripped it, and then sent it back, which honestly is so inappropriate. That is the story with this dress. I cleaned it up, I mended it, and you know, I did tell the other customer, like, hey, this is a return. The other girl didn't want it, and I actually sold it for $30 higher at $150. So this dress originally was $16, I sold it for $150, and then I made $104 on it. So this is my highest sale of the month, and honestly, I really hope that this girl loves this dress because it's such a special dress, and actually this print was so hard to find. So I was super excited for this to go to the right home now. And also, I just wanted to mention that Reformation dresses are really hot right now. So if you do find any of these, I think they're great sellers, especially the maxi dresses. The second best sale that I had made here, and the rest of these are kind of going to be in no particular order. I actually had a lot of good sales this month, but I just wanted to pick out a few that I thought you guys should be aware of. This was a Restoration Hardware quilted blanket. I believe that this was a queen size, so this was quite a large blanket. I had found this in the bins for $2 in a plastic bag. So I knew it was totally clean, and when I looked at it, I was like, okay, this has a few stains on it, so I stain treated it, I disinfected it. It was good as new, so I actually ended up selling this for $99. I bought it for $2, so I ended up making $77.70 on that blanket. Restoration Hardware is a really good one. I've been trying to expand my markets. Home has been very successful for me this month, so this blanket made me a lot of money, and I will be on the lookout for more Restoration Hardware pieces in the future. The third item here that sold really well for me this past month was another home item, and these were a pair of Waterford crystal goblets. These were from the Millennium Love collections. They had hearts on them. Absolutely gorgeous. I was so surprised to find these in the bins. These were $2 at the bins, and I ended up selling them for $90. So in total, I made $70 on these goblets. These were absolutely gorgeous, and actually they're still sitting here because I have not shipped them out. They were a little bit later in the month here, but I was so excited to see them go. So if you guys haven't expanded to the home market yet, I absolutely would, because I think that there is more ludicrous money to be made. I think the kids items are a little bit less because they're smaller sizes, they're not as in demand, kids grow very fast. Men are a little less picky with what they pick up, so I think that that's a good one, but home especially, people are ready and willing to spend money on those items. The fourth sale here that I wanted to mention was actually one that I had mentioned in a luxury thrift haul, so if you guys haven't watched that, I totally would. I'll link it above. But it was a Lululemon colorful crop top. Now, I actually found out that this was part of their water paddle collection, so this is meant to be in the pool. You can get it wet, all of that, and it was such a great sale for me, guys. This was actually a very rare item, so I ended up picking this up for $13 and selling it for $80, which means that I made $51 on this crop top. Lululemon is such a fast seller, as you guys know, but especially the harder to find pieces will go very, very well. And the last great sale that I wanted to mention for this past month was a pair of rare Snoopy Vans. Obviously, as you guys know, Vans are a great seller, and you can usually sell them for about $30 to $35 online, but these were a very rare find, and I actually could only find them online, new in the box, like spotless, for $200, I think. So these ones, you know, were worn, but they still were in the box and everything. So I paid $2 for them, and I sold them for $62 plus a shipping discount, which means on these shoes I made $44.74. This was such a good sale for me, and again, it's not something that you would necessarily think of, but for collectors, these are great items for them to pick up or even to re-gift to someone. As you guys know, however, I do always have lower sales, and this is something that I always want to highlight after I show my highs, because, you know, I'm really trying to work on reducing the amounts of these that are coming in through my sales, because I want to pay myself a higher rate per hour than I would otherwise, you know, working a minimum wage job or even an entry-level job. So I really try to minimize these, but they do happen, and usually it's because of my bad purchases in the past. So the first one goes along with that. It was a Sanctuary black plaid button-down shirt. This I actually paid $16.64, which don't yell at me for this, but I bought it in a whole online retail arbitrage lot with a whole bunch of other things. And yes, these prices are really high for Sanctuary, but at the time I thought Sanctuary would sell. I was wrong. So this is definitely advice to make sure that you are sourcing things at the bins first to test them out before you go and buy them for retail arbitrage. It sold for $18, which means that I actually lost money on this for $2.10. This was actually the only one that I lost money on this past month, and when I had gotten this in, I knew that I spent more money on this, but it has been sitting for I think about a year now, and I did not want to see it any longer. I've been really trying to focus on listing items that I love and I'm excited to list because I have whole listing days and it definitely takes it out of me, and I notice that I really gravitate towards the items that I'm excited to list. So this was just something that I had to let go of, and this was the only item that I lost money on this month. The second item here is something that you guys are probably going to get a little furious about, but they were a pair of Everlane jeans. These were one of their like signature skinny styles, and I had paid $13 for them in a buy-sell trade store, which yes is high, but I did not realize that at the time. Online, everyone's like, oh, Everlane sells so well, but in reality, we really don't compared to other jeans that I've sold like Levi's or Reformation. They just don't, and I don't quite understand why people get so excited about them. Like, I would much rather get excited about Mother or a Goldie or something like that. So this was just something that I got into for the hype, but they actually sold for $25. I made $7 on the sale, but $7 for me is not enough to justify the amount that I, number one, paid for the item. Like, I didn't even get 2 times the amount of money that I would have otherwise, so that to me wasn't worth it. But also, like, sourcing the item, steaming the item, photographing the item, packaging the item, like, that is not worth $7 by any means. So I will not be picking up Everlane again unless it's like a super rare style or something, but I just can't justify it. The last sale, however, that I thought really was not the best was an Eileen Fisher like red basic quarter sleeve top. This I also bought for the heck of it when it was trending. I think this was like half a year ago now in my local thrift. I thought the Eileen Fisher sold for a lot more, so I did end up picking this up, which was definitely a mistake. I paid $5 for this shirt and it sold for $14, which means that I made $4.70 on this shirt. You guys, I would not again be picking up this brand just like the last one unless it's something special. So actually this month I had gone to the thrift store, found a beautiful Eileen Fisher silk blend cardigan. It's like a long trench coat cardigan, and I actually ended up putting it back because I couldn't justify spending the money on it. It was a sweater, so I think it was $5.75, because I was worried about sales like this. Now, I will say I got lucky. I went to the bins the next day, and I don't know what it is for the thrift stores that I have. I think some of them have been putting the things on the racks and sending them straight to the bins, but I actually found this and a bunch of other things that I put back in the bins. So I did pick them up at that price because I thought that they were worth it. So it ended up being about $2 instead, but for something that is not made of a quality or premium fabric, I don't necessarily think that these brands are worth it. Also, just as a side note, anything under $10 profit for me at this point is just a no-go. I do not find that they are worth my time to be doing this process on, because I really ideally want to be making $20 or more per item. And so anything under $10 is just something that I don't think that I will be doing in the future now. I know last month I said, you know, I at least want to be making over 5, but I think technically I should be over 10 as I am starting to work my way up this ladder and get more experience as a full-time reseller. So now, what you guys have been waiting for, let's look at my dashboard. Okay, so some of my texts come up off weird on this. I don't know why, and I'd actually saved this to my Etsy shop, so if you guys want the spreadsheet, it is available for sale with the original fonts. I don't know why this changed this. I think my computer updated and it was just like being weird. I actually have my computer propped up right here, by the way, guys, on some sales that I have packaged, so yeah, I'm not in my office right now. My office is just such a mess from listing, and I'm actually in the process of painting it, so it's just all over the place. But my total profit for the month of July was $3,620.97. This was one of my major goals for the past month here. It was just to double the amount of income that I had made from last month. And I actually surpassed that goal by $220.97. I am so proud of myself for this because it did take a lot of work, and when I realized, I think within the last 5 days, I had to make about $500, I thought that it was doable, and I did not expect to even exceed my goals. So this was just a huge milestone for me. I've never made this much money in a month of reselling, and it can only go up from here. So this was so inspiring for me to see, and so encouraging as well, because I think that sometimes, like, if you don't meet your goals, it can be really discouraging, but I did meet this one, and it's just small steps from here on out. So I do have the amount of money that I have to save for taxes as $727.71. This is important. I actually reduced this from last month's. I was doing 30% to stay safe, but I found out that the numbers were actually 22%. So I started saving 22% instead, which is why it's lowered, but that's that. Then I had in total 157 items that had sold. This also was higher than last month. I'm very proud of this. I've been listing like a crazy person, so I found that this was really doable. And you know, sometimes I might get overwhelmed with the packaging like I am now by using my boxes as a little table for my computer, but you know, I will take those long packaging nights and long listing days if it means more consistent sales. And the total amount that I had spent on inventory that sold this month was $836.05. Guys, this was great. When I did the calculations on this, I had actually made 4.8% more than I had invested. This means that I had made about 5 times my investment over on all of the items that I had sold this past month, which is amazing. And I am so proud of that. So this next month, I think I'm gonna cut down my costs like a little bit more, but we'll talk about that at the end of this video. But I think that the total amount spent on my inventory actually was really good, and I have no problems with that whatsoever. And here it is. I actually met another goal. My goal for this last month was to be able to make an average sales price of around $35, and I actually met it on Poshmark at $36.51 per item. This was absolutely great and a dream for me, because I know last month I had gotten around $28 and that wasn't so great, but even just having this slight increase makes it so much better on my total monthly income. And it makes it so much more sustainable for me to be doing this. So that was also another great goal met by me. So this was also another great goal met. On eBay, I had made 2 sales on there, so my average sales price was $21. Not great, but I'm trying to branch out, and 0 sales on Mercari. So in total, I had 155 sales on Poshmark and just 2 on eBay. But again, I cannot complain about this. I thought that this was really good. Now, if I made more on Mercari and eBay, I would have absolutely no problem with that, because they take less fees than Poshmark does. So I am still looking to branch out on those. But again, we'll be talking about that next up in the goal setting portion of this video. The only goal that I would say that I didn't make this month is my branching out of my sources of income. As you guys can see, you know, I really didn't make a lot of sales on Mercari or eBay. And as for paid products, sponsorships, and all of that stuff, I really didn't make a lot. I did some freelancing, I sold some products, but it wasn't something that I felt really good about sharing right now, especially since I don't think it's the best that I can do at it. But obviously you guys are going to see this later on once I start getting the ball rolling of how long that took me, what it took to grow those sources of income, and all of that. But I definitely think that that'll be for a later video. So right now, let's talk about goal setting for the next month here, what I'm planning to do, what I'm planning to change, if anything, and what kind of goals I want to reach this next month. So for my 3rd month of full-time reselling, right now my only goal is just to stay consistent. So obviously I am meeting my requirements for, you know, everything that I need to sustain myself, and my process is really, I'm getting my process down a lot, so I feel as if I really can't get much better from here. So we're gonna see what Q3 brings. I know that summer slowdown is a real thing, and you know, if I can make a little bit more, that's great. But one of the things that I want to see is how consistent I can make this income stream at first without any further help. So if I go up from here, I might wait another month to hire outside help, but in the future, I definitely will keep you guys updated on when I hire an assistant or when I hire a part-time employee or employees, because right now, I think the only way to scale my income is by doing that. And as I mentioned earlier, some of the things that I've been doing to branch out have been starting into the home market, the men's, kids markets, but I'm making a lot more money on the home market right now than I am on women's items. Sometimes they're harder to find, I will say, but I still think that they are worth it in the long run for my business as a whole. So I am going to start slightly picking up more home items than clothing items. If expanding into new markets does help me scale up my income a little bit more, I might wait a slightly longer timeline for hiring some more help until I absolutely need to, because these home items do have a higher average sales price. So we're gonna see what that does for my total income, but I definitely think that hiring other people to help me for an assistant position or even like part-time is going to be something that I'm really investing into for the future and long term. One other experimental thing that I'm going to be testing out this next month is taking consignment clients. You know, looking at my cost of goods this past month, I think that those are actually pretty great numbers. However, even if I'm saving a few $100 a month just by taking on consignment clients rather than paying for things myself, I think that could be slightly beneficial, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. I'm not sure if it'll be so much worth my time if I'm only getting 50% of that cut, but we will see how that goes. And you know, if it's not that profitable, I won't be doing it in the future, but if I can get some higher consignment clients, I think that I'll keep doing it. And the last goal here that I have for myself for the month of August and my third month full-time reselling is raising my average sales price again. You guys know that I met last month's goal of $35 by $1 over. So this next month, my average sales price I'm hoping is going to be $40 an item. This seems like a little bit higher, but if I'm sourcing more home goods and I'm sourcing more higher profit items, I think that this will be good. And I think that this also will increase my overall sales for the month of August. Now, if you guys like this video and you want to show your support, please be sure to like this video down below and subscribe. I would love to see you guys back here. But that is everything that I have for you in today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!